Welcome to Planning Chaos. I'm super late doing my October setup, so if you follow me, I do apologize. I'm sick and just life kind of got away from me. So I ran out of time, lost track of time, whatever the case may be. And then I had technical difficulties, and so here we are. This is where we're at. I'm excited, but I'm also like sketched out by what I'm gonna do and how it's gonna end up, but we're gonna have fun doing it. So let's get to it. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. As you can see, we're in the middle of super chaos here. I had some last minute changes to my theme. I posted my lettered piece up on my Instagram. I don't know if you saw, but it was a steampunk theme, which has now turned into this is the scrapbook paper I had, so this is what we're gonna go with. I'm using these alphabet stamps from Miss Sparkle & Co. I found them at the bargain bin at Joann's. They're not the best stamps, but we're going to use these because they fit my idea of the theme. I grabbed some stencils. They're all Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous. I haven't quite decided which ones I'm going to use just yet. We're going to take a look and see. I grabbed my distress inks. As you can see, this is not my favorite color since I've never used it, but we're going to play and see what happens. For my washi, I found some silver washi, which I thought would be fun to tie into the theme. And then I found this lettered washi, which I actually bought, honestly, like 10 years ago at an art store. So we're going to throw this in there too and see how it goes. For an added bonus, I have some clipping stickers, Halloween themed clipping stickers from Tim Holtz and Ideology. I have these as well, which I have no idea where they came from, but since I found the silver washi tape, I don't think I'm going to use those. Again, Recollections Halloween book pages, some Tim Holtz Halloween ephemera, some Tim Holtz paper dolls, and then I found the stamp set. I'm not going to use that, and this is from the paper dolls, which I'm going to use for my cover page. Now, I promised myself this year that I was not going to buy any Halloween themed crafting supplies because I have so many, and I haven't. I've been really good. And then I had this mini, I don't want to call it a catastrophe. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but this mini hiccup to my setup, and now I'm actually going to sit down and use these. So I'm actually really excited to play and show you how you can cobble together a setup with just craft store supplies and dollar store supplies as well. The dollar store has some great supplies too. This is my cat Millie, who keeps coming out in front of the camera. She is a character. So let's get started. So I've made a lot of jokes about how this wasn't my first choice. Now, that's not to say I didn't enjoy the process or I didn't enjoy the end result. No, like I love how this turned out, and I had an absolute blast putting this all together. And here you see me go through the process of trying to figure out what I want and how I want it to look. I actually use removable adhesive to put everything in place to see if it's exactly how I want. And then I go in later and I actually glue it down with proper adhesive. So this scrapbook paper is from Michael's. I believe it was from a couple of years ago. I unfortunately don't remember. It's linked down below. Not linked, but the name of the paper set is down below and on the blog as well that you can check out. And then this is my supervisor, my little fairy supervisor watching. She's a rescue. We got her about 3 months ago. And she's so curious and she gets in every way. But she's a little sweetheart, so, you know, you just have to put up with it. So this is kind of the mixed media piece that I ended up with. It's all just trial and error, seeing what works and what doesn't. I wanted to go in and do a background. I started with the ice spruce, the Distress Oxide and ice spruce, and I hated it. It was colder than the lettering piece on the left. So I just went in over top with black soot, and that really helped. And then I put in a little bit of the milled lavender distress ink. And so if you're not familiar with distress oxide and distress ink, when you put the two of them together, they kind of react in a super cool way. And so that was my thinking behind putting the distress ink in there as well, even though you wouldn't see the milled lavender on top of the black soot. So I'm stamping in my October date, and I'm going to draw my borders like I always do, because I just feel like it finishes the pages up really nicely. I went for a lavender type washi, and then a washi that I thought was black but was actually like a dark purple with a sheer tint to it, which I thought was actually pretty perfect. So I was really happy with how that turned out. So throughout this video, you'll see me trying different things. I actually had to edit a lot out. A lot of it was me sitting back in my chair trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I cut that out for you, otherwise we would be here for a few days. So I'm using my Archer and Olive vintage alphabet stamp set. This was in the latest subscription box that they had, the September sub box. So I really thought the vintage style of those letters fit better with the vintage style of the October, and then also just my theme overall. And then I try to do cursive with a fountain pen. I haven't done cursive since I think grade 8, when we were allowed to stop doing cursive. So it's a little bit rough, but it got what I wanted in terms of the like old handwriting paper effect. So these ancestor people cardboard cutouts are actually pretty fantastic. I'm going to start using more of them in my mixed media just because I thought it was fun. And then these letters or word phrases are super fun. Now you can't see it in the video, but the words I chose were: the strangeness of the incident chronicled from time to time. A strange feeling comes over you. There seemed no possible escape. Just weird and random and creepy sounding, which is what I was going for. And here I'm showing you that you can take the rest of the scrapbook pad and cut out elements of the paper. So the rose on the left hand side, the skull was cut out, and then I believe I cut out the fly that you see near the top there as well, and then just gluing down some ephemera. I ended up cutting out these 3 jars, and I really struggled with making them work. Basically it was kind of like trying to make fetch happen, but it worked out in the end, and you'll see later on in my weekly layout. I wanted to cut out a spider, but the spider was too small, so I just decided to draw one in. I thought it kind of balanced nicely with everything that was going on the left. So this is my notes page and my habit tracker. I'm using a stencil from Erin Floto Designs. I really enjoy these metal stencils, especially because they cut out so much time. And I used the milled lavender distress ink so that it would have a bit of a crystal ball effect. Now, even though I can apparently cut with a X-Acto knife in a straight line, I cannot draw a perfectly round circle. But it is what it is. So aesthetically, I actually really struggle with the notes pages because it's something that I still want to be functional in terms of writing space, but then it's also something I want to tie into everything else. So here I just cut off like a strip of washi from one of the papers to tie into the purple of the habit tracker. And then I found that super creepy kid picture, which I was super pumped about. And I thought it worked out quite nicely. And then what I ended up doing was I picked a phrase that said vanishing visitors, and I just cut it in half to make it fit. For my weekly, I'm in a Dutch door this month. Haven't done one in a long time, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity to get it done. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. It was a fine line between keeping it simple enough that I would be able to do it for the rest of the month. If it gets too complicated, for example, like I want to clean the mess and pack everything away, but in doing so, I won't be able to set up the rest of my month I'd have to do it all at once. And to be honest with you, I don't do that. I probably do it either the day before or the Monday of the week, sometimes the Tuesday. So I don't want to be scrambling looking for stuff. So I try to keep it as simple as possible, but my brain just wanted everything to kind of blend seamlessly in terms of the overall layout. So that's what I ended up doing. I added bits of milled lavender purple to the layout, again to tie the purple in of the rest of the setup. I have my calendar that I'll stamp soon. I have my goals, to-dos, notes next week. I forgot what I was going to use those 2 squares on the right hand side of the page for, so I just ended up gluing something over top of it. Yeah, I couldn't remember, and my brain was so tired, so I just glued over top of it, and I'm perfectly happy with the results. And again, here you see my process of trying to figure out what I want and how I want it to look. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Feel free to head on over to the blog to read a little bit more if you'd like about my thought process and whatnot. But this is my October. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Make sure to stay to the end for a full flip through.